comes Anaikantika Hitvabhasa, the inconclusive, faulty probans. The term Anaikantika stands for a probans which is characterized by irregularity in its relation to the probandum and therefore does not prove the probandum conclusively. We know that according to the triple character of a sound probans, the probans should exist in at least a few cases of sapaksha and in no cases of vipaksha. The fallacy of inconclusive probans generally occurs by violating these conditions in different ways. 5 such possibilities can be calculated which give 5 types of Anaikantika. First, Sadharana Anaikantika. Probans exists in the whole of sapaksha and the whole of vipaksha. Second, Sapakshaika Desha Vritti Vipaksha Vyapi. Probans exists in a part of the sapaksha and in the whole of vipaksha. Third, Vipakshaika Desha Vritti Sapaksha Vyapi. Probans exists in the whole of sapaksha and in a part of vipaksha. Ubhaya Pakshaika Desha Vritti. Probans exists in a part of sapaksha and in a part of vipaksha. And then Asadharana, where the probans is present neither in sapaksha nor in vipaksha. Apart from the above 5 kinds of inconclusive defective probans, Diṅnāga also introduced another kind, namely Viruddhya Abhyavichari, where 2 probanses are available which are equally strong but lead to opposite conclusions. Now let us consider the examples of these 6 kinds. First is Sadharana. Sound is eternal because it is knowable. Here knowability or prameyatva is the probans. The set of eternal objects such as space is sapaksha here, and the set of non-eternal objects such as a pot is the vipaksha here. All eternal as well as non-eternal objects are knowable. Hence, knowability as probans is sadharana. Sapakshaika desha vritti vipaksha vyapi. Sound is not caused by efforts because it is non-eternal. Here, non-eternality is the probans. Not being produced by efforts is the probandum. Sapaksha consists of the things not produced by efforts, such as space and lightning. Among them, space is eternal, but lightning is not. Hence, it can be said that here the probans exists in a part of sapaksha. Here the vipaksha consists of the things which are made through efforts. They are all non-eternal. Hence, it can be said that here the probans, which is non-eternality, is present in the whole of vipaksha. Then, vipakshaika desha vrittihi sapaksha vyapi. Sound is caused by efforts because it is non-eternal. In this inference, sound or shabda is the subject, the property of being caused by efforts, prayatna anantariyakatva, the probandum, and non-eternality or anityatva, the probans. Sapaksha is the set of the things caused by efforts, all of which are non-eternal. Hence, one can say that the probans' non-eternality exists in the whole of sapaksha. Vipaksha here is the set of things not caused by efforts, which include the objects like lightning, which is non-eternal, and space, which is eternal. Hence, it can be said that the probans here exists in a part of vipaksha. Ubhaya pakshaika desha vritti. Sound is eternal because it is immaterial. Here sound or shabda is the subject. Eternality, nityatva, is the probandum, and immateriality or amurtatva, the probans. Sapaksha here is the set of eternal objects which consist of atoms, which are material, and space, which is immaterial. Hence, here probans exists in a part of sapaksha. Vipaksha here is the set of non-eternal things which consist of the things like pot and pleasure. Out of them, a pot lacks immateriality, but pleasure does not. Hence, the Probans exists in a part of Vipaksha. In all the 4 cases above, the Probans is faulty because it exists in Vipaksha or in a part thereof when it should not have existed there at all. And it is inconclusive because it exists at least in a part of both Sapaksha and Vipaksha. Asadharana Anaikantika. Sound is eternal because it has audibility. Here, audibility or Shravanatva is the Probans. Eternal objects such as space are Sapaksha, and the non-eternal objects such as pot are Vipaksha. Here, audibility is neither present in Sapaksha nor in Vipaksha because only sound, which is the subject or Paksha here, is audible. The Probans is faulty because it should have existed in at least a few similar cases, but here it exists in none. The Probans is inconclusive because it gives rise to a doubt whether sound is eternal or non-eternal. Viruddhya Abhyavichari. Viruddhya Abhyavichari type of faulty Probans fulfills all the 3 conditions, yet it becomes faulty because of the availability of a counter Probans which equally fulfills all the 3 conditions stated above. As an example, we can consider the 2 inferences. The Vaisheshikas argue that sound is non-eternal because it is created, just as a pot. Against this, the Mimamsaka argues that sound is eternal because it has audibility like soundness. Here the Probans' createdness and the counter Probans' audibility are both invariably related to their respective Probanda, namely non-eternality and eternality, which are contradictory to each other. They give rise to a doubt of the form, is sound non-eternal because of createdness or eternal because of audibility? It should also be noted that when we say that the 2 Probanses are invariably related, Abhyavicharin, to their respective Probanda, by invariable relation, we only mean fulfillment of the 3 conditions which does not guarantee universal or necessary relation between Probans and Probandam. Next comes Viruddha Hitvabhasa, the contradictory faulty Probans. A Viruddha Hitvabhasa is that which contradicts with the existence of Probandam. It is called Viruddha because a faulty Probans of this kind, instead of proving the Probandam, proves the negation of it. In Diṅnāga's framework of 3 conditions, this will happen if the Probans, instead of being present in Sapaksha, is completely absent from it, and instead of being completely absent from Vipaksha, is present in it. In his Wheel of Probans, Hetu Chakra, Diṅnāga introduces 2 varieties of Viruddha fallacy. Probans is absent from the whole of Sapaksha, but is present in a part of Vipaksha. For example, sound is eternal because it is produced by efforts. Probans is absent from the whole of Sapaksha, but present in the whole of Vipaksha. For example, sound is eternal because it is a product. Diṅnāga also introduced other varieties of Viruddha, among which Ishta Vyaghata Krit, one which destroys the intended Probandam, is worth mentioning. He gives Sankhya argument for the existence of Purusha as its example. The argument runs as follows. Eyes, etc. are meant for something other since they are composite, just like bed and seat. This argument was offered by the Sankhyas to establish the existence of the non-composite self or Purusha. Purusha, which is to be established, is not explicitly mentioned as Probandam in the inference, but it is intended, Ishta, by the expression something other, Para. The Buddhists, however, find this Probans contradictory. They argue that the Probans' compositeness, Sanghatattva, instead of proving a non-composite Purusha, proves something composite. Composite things like bed and seat invariably serve the purpose of others, namely persons, who are themselves composite. Similarly, if eyes etc. are meant to serve something other, then that other must be something composite. Therefore, the Probans advanced by the Sankhya philosophers proves something composite which contradicts the intended probandum, namely non-composite Purusha.